The Toyota Kijang pickup truck was the unsung workhorse of Southeast Asia. The humble workhorse doesn't have the global recognition of the Toyota Hilux or the Tacoma, but in places like Indonesia, Philippines, and Malaysia, the Kijang pickup has been the backbone for small businesses, farming communities, and everyday transportation since the late 70s. From hauling produce to market, carrying building materials to construction sites, or serving as makeshift public transportation in remote areas, the Kijang pickup has done it all. Today we're tracing the evolution of this incredible vehicle across generations, understanding what made it so successful and why it deserves more recognition in the pantheon of legendary Toyota utility vehicles. The story of the Toyota Kijang begins in the mid-1970s when Toyota was looking to develop vehicles specifically for emerging markets, and unlike the strategy of simply exporting existing models, Toyota engineers took a different approach with what would become known as the basic transport vehicle product. And what's actually interesting and exciting is obviously we've been hearing Toyota is going to be making big investments in America, and I think we need more small pickup trucks in that segment. So without further ado, let's get into this one and see what's going on. The concept was brilliant in its simplicity. Create an affordable, reliable, and easy maintainable vehicle that could handle rough roads while serving multiple purposes. The result was the first-gen Kijang, which debuted in Indonesia in 1977, and the name Kijang itself comes from Indonesia word for deer, symbolizing agility and adaptability, perfect characteristics for a vehicle designed to navigate diverse terrain and fulfill various roles. In other markets, this model was sometimes known as the Toyota Tamara or the Toyota Coilus, and what made the Kijang pickup trucks truly special was the versatility. With a simple chassis, robust suspension, and dependable engine, it offered exceptional value in markets where practicality trumped luxury and flash. And the first generation came in 1977, affectionately known as in India as the Kijang Buaya or the Crocodile Kijang due to its long flat hood design. It was simplicity redefined. It had a 1.2-liter 3K 4-cylinder engine from the Corolla, producing around 55 horsepower, rear-wheel drive configuration, leaf spring suspension, a utilitarian cabin that seated 2 or 3 people, a spacious flat cargo bed with fold-down sides for easier loading. And what's fascinating about the first generation model is how Toyota stripped everything down to the essentials. There was no power steering, no power brakes, not even a radio in most models. The dashboard was essentially a metal panel with a few basic gauges, but what it lacked in creature comforts it made up for in durability. These trucks could take tremendous punishment on the roads. The simple mechanical design meant that even if something did break, most local mechanics could fix it with basic tools, often using locally fabricated parts when genuine Toyota parts weren't available. That was the key. The cargo capacity was incredible for its size and impressive. Farmers would routinely overload these trucks with rice, produce, livestock, pushing well beyond the rated capacity. And the fact that the Kijang could handle these loads day after day, year after year, cemented its reputation of reliability. In 1981 came around, Toyota had learned valuable lessons from the first generation and incorporated these into the second-gen Kijang pickup. And the second gen brought several key improvements, which included a more powerful 1.3-liter 4K engine option, slightly improved interior comfort, better suspension tuning for improved ride quality, more modern styling with a distinctive front grille, and improved braking systems. And while still fundamentally utilitarian, the second generation Kijang represented Toyota's commitment to continuous improvement. They kept the core attributes that made the first gen successful, but addressed key pain points. One interesting development during this period was how local communities began modifying these trucks for special purposes. In rural Indonesia, many Kijang pickups were converted into makeshift public transportation vehicles by adding benches and canopies to the bed. These BEMO or microlay conversions began common sights on rural roads, and the second-gen Kijang further solidified Toyota's dominance in the light commercial vehicle segment across Southeast Asia. Competitors tried to match this combination of affordability, reliability, and utility, but the Kijang's reputation continued to grow. And with the third gen that we saw in 1986 represented the most significant evolution yet. Known as the Kijang Super or the Kijang Grand, depending on the market and trim level, this generation would enjoy the longest production run of any of the Kijangs to date. Updated, more aerodynamic styling, a choice of more powerful engines including 1.5 and 1.8 liter options, improved transmission options, better interior amenities including air conditioning on higher trims, reinforced cargo beds for increased durability, and an option of extended cab configurations in some markets. This generation coincided with the economic growth period in many Southeast Asian countries, and the Kijang evolved to meet changing customer expectations. And while still primarily a work vehicle, more owners were using their Kijang pickups as personal transportation as well. Toyota recognizes dual-purpose usage and offered more comfort features on certain trim levels while maintaining a rugged utility that made the Kijang famous. What's particularly interesting about the third gen was its longevity. With a production run of nearly a decade, the generation of Kijang pickups became iconic across Southeast Asia. Even today, it's common to see these 30-plus-year-old vehicles still working hard on farms, construction sites, and markets. By the late 1990s, customer expectations were evolving rapidly, and Toyota responded with the fourth-gen Kijang in 1997, and it was nicknamed the Capsule Kijang in Indonesia due to its rounded, capsule-like design. This generation represented a more significant departure from previous models, completely redesigned exterior with more modern styling, significant improved interior comfort and features, more powerful and fuel-efficient engine options, improved handling and ride quality, enhanced safety features, and available diesel engine options in some markets. This generation arrived at a challenging time in Southeast Asian economies with the financial crisis in Asia in 1997, yet the Kijang's reputation for value and reliability helped it weather the economic storm better than most competitors. The fourth-gen Kijang pickup maintained its working-class hero status while adding more refinement. It could still haul impressive loads and handle rough terrain, but so did with much more comfort and style than its predecessors. This gen also saw more specialized variants, including flatbed versions for construction and extended cab models that offered a bit more storage in the seats. The fifth generation marked a significant turning point in the Kijang story. Launched in 2004 as part of Toyota's innovative international multi-purpose vehicle project, this generation was branded as the Kijang Innova in most markets. And while the Kijang name continued, we did see some differences there. However, in certain markets, pickup variants actually were produced for commercial customers who relied on the Kijang nameplate, and they focused more on passenger vehicles rather than pickup trucks. So they made a little departure there. The IMV platform split the Kijang's DNA across three models. The Kijang Innova, primarily a passenger MPV, the Toyota Hilux taking over the dedicated pickup truck, and the Toyota Fortuner, an SUV, sharing the platform. So it's interesting to see that with this study, guys, we actually noticed that this is sort of the predecessor to the Toyota Hilux. Yeah, so they actually branched out from this platform and from this idea into a very established set of vehicles. Obviously an SUV that we still see today, obviously the famous pickup that we see today. So the transition reflected changing market demands as economies developed and consumer preferences evolved. Many previous Kijang customers were upgrading to more specialized vehicles. Business owners who once used a single Kijang pickup for everything might now have a Hilux for work and an Innova for family transportation. For the limited pickup variants that did continue under the Kijang name during this period, they featured modern powertrains with improved efficiency and power, enhanced safety features, better refinement and comfort, more sophisticated suspension, and contemporary styling. The Toyota Kijang pickup legacy extends far beyond its sales numbers because in many ways it helped build the Southeast Asia literally and figuratively. And from a business perspective, the Kijang exemplified Toyota's ability to market specific products that perfectly address local needs, and also shows how some of these models have evolved and are sort of the pioneers for the models we see today in the pickup truck and SUV lineup for Toyota worldwide. Rather than simply exporting existing models, Toyota created something unique that became deeply ingrained in the culture and economy of the region, provided affordable transportation to small businesses, helping countless entrepreneurs build their livelihoods, connected rural communities to markets and urban centers, and served as the first vehicle many families could afford. We created an ecosystem and economy of mechanics, parts suppliers, and modern modification specialists who built their careers around these vehicles. And even today, decades-old Kijang pickups remain a common sight across Southeast Asia. Their simple mechanical design means they can be kept running almost indefinitely with basic maintenance and repairs, and it's not uncommon to see first, second, and third gen models still working hard, having been passed down through multiple generations. Interestingly enough, we're now seeing the beginning of collector interest even in the early Kijang pickups. What was once seen as a purely utilitarian is now appreciated for its historical significance and honest, unpretentious design. Restoration products focused on first gen and second gen models have become more common, with enthusiasts appreciating the mechanical simplicity and distinctive styling from these early trucks. Finding original, well-preserved examples is becoming increasingly difficult, as most worked hard throughout their lives. The scarcity is gradually driving up values for clean original models, though they remain far more affordable than most collectible models. For collectors interested in these trucks, the advice is simple. Look for examples with minimal rust, as body panels can be difficult to source. Mechanical parts remain relatively easy to find due to Toyota's excellent part support and interchangeability of many components with other Toyota models of the era. And the Toyota Kijang pickup may not have the global recognition of its siblings like the Land Cruiser or the Hilux, but in markets where it was sold, it achieved something remarkable as it became an essential part of daily life. And through 5 generations spanning nearly 4 decades, the pickup evolved through an ultra-basic work truck to a more refined multi-purpose vehicle, always maintaining its core values of reliability, affordability, and practicality. And like we said, it looks like it actually might have been maybe replaced by specialized vehicles such as the Hilux, but the impact of the Kijang on the Southeast and worldwide economies and communities remains undeniable. It's testament to Toyota's philosophy of creating the right vehicle for the right market for the right time is definitely there. And thanks so much, guys, for joining. Let me know your thoughts on this vehicle. It's definitely a sleeper, and as I said, who knows, it could be making a comeback. Obviously, this truck was one of the ones that bridged into what we see today with the Hilux and the Toyota Tacoma, that is, but you never know. We have demand for small, compact pickup trucks, so you never know what's going to happen in the future. I'm a fan of this one. Let me know your thoughts down below, and see you in the next one.